Alright folks, Chi Baker here, Street Tactical Integrations. This is my son, Nico Baker. And today I'm going to teach him how to do two different slap techniques. The first one, the main one that we teach out of the Kajukenbo Progressive Tactical Systems and Street Tactical Integrations is the one where you cup your hand. And the reason for that is when you slap the ear, you can rupture the eardrum. When you rupture the eardrum, the assailant, the attacker, basically goes to vertigo. So what's upside, they go completely upside down because their eardrum's ruptured. The other one, which we can name the Will Smith slap, is when your hand is spread. And that slap typically is to move the head in a violent way. And it hurts, but what it mostly does is move the head, which moves the body. So it's a good way to redirect somebody's head and body, but it's not a great way to do any significant damage. Significant damage is the cupping version, where when you hit somebody again at the ear, you can rupture their eardrum, which causes extreme pain, but also vertigo. When somebody has vertigo, they can no longer attack you because they really can't walk. Okay. So Nico, what you're going to do is when you slap, you're going to maintain that cupping hand as you hit the focus mitt. Okay? So we're going to work just on that, and then we're going to go into some more mechanics. So go ahead. Good. Really slap through. All the way through. There you go. One more. Okay. Slaps are kind of like hooks, where you're going to be turning and pivoting on your feet and using your hips. Okay? So here what I do when I do that slap, let me take off the focus mitt for a second, is if I'm using my right hand, I'm going to be pivoting off of my left foot and turning my right hip. So I turn, right, and pivot. I'm sorry. So that my weight goes back to my left foot and I pivot off my right foot. So here, boom, and I hit. What I want to do is be really using my hip power to get that hit versus using my arm power. If I just use my arm power, I've got very little striking prowess. If I use my hip, it's called swinging the door, is that the whole door is swinging to hit, okay? So I'm gonna have Nico do about 5 of those, and then we'll add a little bit more to this. Good. Good. There you go. Turn and pull. 2 more. And last one. Good. Okay. The final piece of this, well, there's 2 more pieces. One is that when you initially start, what helps to really use that hip power is your elbow is going to be connected to your ribs. Okay, so you're going to turn, and what I initially want you to do when you're practicing at home, and you'll do 5, is I want you to just keep that elbow at your hip, or at your rib. So you're really connecting that hip, because you're not swinging the arm as much as you're rotating and using the hip, okay? So again, this what helps teach you is to pivot properly and use mostly your hip, and your shoulders should continue to stay in line with your hips. So it'd be weird to like move my hips and then my shoulders, right? They all just move together. Again, it's a door, right? A solid door, not one of those old kind of swinging Western doors where it's split in the middle, okay? So really keep that elbow, Nico, attached here, and you're going to hit like that, okay? Good. Good. Breathe out. 1 more. That's not good enough. Again. Good. It will feel funny. It's going to kind of feel like you've got T-Rex arms, which is totally fine, okay? So now what he's going to do, and again, I've never taught this to Nico, so he's learning at the rate, hopefully, that you're learning. He's been training a while, so he may be learning faster than you, but, you know. So what he's going to do is he's going to turn, and then I'm going to change the focus mitt. So before I put the focus mitt near him, right, so he could hit, I'm gonna change it so it's here. So he's got to he's got to release his elbow off of his rib cage. But he wants to do that kind of at the last minute. So we want to maintain that until it's time to open up and go. Because what that does is it maintains that hip elbow connection, which again is very, very beneficial to the power. Okay, so we'll see how he does. So he hasn't practiced before. So what you want to do again is keep that, and then about here is when you open up and you reach. Okay, so get in a good position, fighting position, right? And then you go. Good. Not so good. There you go. So turn your hip. There you go. Nope. Keep it longer. You release the meat. There you go. Let's get two more. Nope. Nope. Let's try to end on a good note. Hit the target. There you go. Okay. So it takes a little bit. Okay. The last piece of this is your wrist. You don't want it flaccid or floppy, but you need it loose enough that it's not. You're not just keeping this rigid. Is that when it goes, kind of like this is like your cocked position, right? Is your wrist like this at an angle, and as it comes, it hits like that. Even when you're doing right now he's doing the cupping one, but even when you do the Will Smith one, is that you want to have that wrist so it comes back and then it hits like that. Okay. The timing on this is a little weird, but if you don't think about it, the timing's fine, right? If you start over analyzing it, your timing's going to get weird. So don't think too much of it. Just remember, you want to make sure that wrist is active as you're striking. Okay? Let's get 5. About 5. 1, good. Nope. Nope. There you go. More. There you go. Another good note. Okay, so what happened was a couple times that didn't work was that he would start here and then immediately he'd reach out and slap. Okay, what happened was he was losing his hip power and he was just swinging mostly with his arm. So kind of learn from that when you're doing that is that you really got to turn and really use that hip. Don't get real excited about just moving your arm. If you go back and you watch the video of Will Smith when he did it, is that he just used his arm. And that's why Chris Rock didn't get rocked hard enough. I really wish Chris Rock would have gotten rocked and ended up being knocked unconscious, because the guy's kind of a douchebag. So what he's doing is making a lot of money off the incident. He's using it as, oh, he got so butthurt from it. Come on, Chris Rock, if you're gonna throw jabs at a man's wife, you gotta get ready to get bitch slapped. So, we're going to work a little bit on the bitch slap, which Will Smith was doing to Chris Rock. I applaud Will Smith. I just hope he can work on his technique a little bit so that he really can rock Chris. Okay, so now what he's going to do is he's going to spread his hand out. And again, if I was doing this, is that what happens when I strike, put your hand down, is that it's kind of like the old song, Palm Your Face Like a Basketball, is that it's really going to carry the head and move it pretty violently. Again, that's going to move the head and the body. It's not going to be a really destructive as it would be if I hit my son Nico on the eardrum, right, and cause vertigo where I blew out his eardrum. So that's a much more devastating hit. It doesn't look as good for show business because you basically just damage the ear and then the person falls over. Versus if you palm their head like a basketball and hit them, right, they're gonna really, really fly, which looks good on video. And as Bruce Lee said, what's effective on the street does not look good on video, and what looks good on video does not work well on the street. Okay, so now he's gonna have an open hand palm, right? And sometimes this gets a better sound to it, but we'll see how it goes. All right, go. Good. Breathe out. That was good. Breathe out. No, just don't separate your elbow too soon. Couple more. Good. Okay. So I encourage you to practice both. Okay. So practice mostly the cupping one, right? Where you're cupping your palm and hitting. Okay. Remember, the target for this really only is the ear. That's the only time that this works well, is hitting the ear. Okay. Just like the Pak Sao, right? That the Pak Sao is more of an open hand strike. It's also something, again, if I'm using it as defense against a knee strike or a kick, or if I'm trying to maybe move his shoulder, so I could do a slap here to move his shoulder, right? To get him out of the way, or to get rear control, or whatever it may be. But again, in terms of devastating strikes, you're going to be using the cupping slap. If you want to just public humiliate somebody like Will Smith, you do the Will Smith slap. Again, the Will Smith slap does have validity. Again, if I want to hit somebody and move them, if you do the cupping strike, the cupping slap properly, you don't have to have any follow-up strikes because they're going to be falling over. Okay, it's like having an extremely drunk person in front of you. Right? They're going to be trying to maintain basically an upward stance as they're falling all over themselves. If you keep hitting them after that, that's an assault. That's not a good thing. So again, that cupping slap could end the fight immediately. The bitch slap or the Will Smith slap may just carry it on longer than need be. Again, if it's followed in a combo, it can be effective. All right, so that's it for this video. This is the cupping slap and the Will Smith bitch slap. All right, guys, make sure you train and protect and serve your community.